So I want to talk a little about freedom today and the freedom and the opportunities that are there for most tradespeople out there in the UK today, guys. So in order to do this, I need to go back a little bit to my time in my own business. But guys, we are on the 23rd of July 2025 today, and me and my wife were out walking today. And we're talking about our next trip, which is coming up in about 4 or 5 weeks, I think. And we realised and discovered that we have been on 16 trips this year alone. Okay, I won't go through them all, but we started the year in Doha. No, we didn't. We started the year in Abu Dhabi. We jumped over to Bali and travelled all around Bali. We've done Dubai on the way home. We've been to Disneyland Paris. We've been to Pisa. We've been to Florence. We've been to Spain twice. We've been to Lanzarote, Lake District twice, Isle of Skye once, and so on. Right? But guys, we are in the middle of July, and we've been on 16 trips already. That's not including the multiple golf trips I've had and the multiple trips I've had out or days out with the boys watching Hearts at the football, or date nights or luncheon dates or whatever. Right now, I tell you that not to gloat, but I tell you that from a freedom perspective, because you can have this too. Okay, guys, all the trips that I have, not really are they derived from Trade Coach. Trade Coach pays my bills, and I'll use the profits from Trade Coach to invest in other areas and whatever. But guys, these all come from the investments that I made when I had my driveway business. So when I had my driveway business, we were making good money. We were doing roughly, turnover wise, we're doing roughly between 100 and 120k turnover per month, of which we were making roughly about 40k profit. Now, I was investing that money, obviously, into investments, mainly property, but not just property. And now, with a £2 million property portfolio, obviously I'm getting returns in from that. Obviously, the capital appreciation on all these properties, not including all the other investments, and so on. Right? And they allow me now to live a life of freedom. Now, even if I still had the driveway company, that driveway company was fully systemised. It was fully staffed, not only on site, but also in the office. So, back then, this is pre-Brexit. We were going to Spain for free. We've got a house in Spain. We were going there for 3-4 months sometimes. We were spending at least 5 months of the year in Spain, and the business was running itself. Guys, you have exactly the same opportunity, right? But in order to do that, for most people watching this video, you have to change your mindset. You really have to change your mind here, guys, and recognise that if you're that trade person, irrespective of your turnover, if you're making less than 100k a year, then guys, that's a job, right? It's a job and it's a wage, right? It's good money. It is good money, but it is just a wage. There's people with a job earning more than that. We really need to get you up to the sort of 200, 300, 400k mark, at which point you can do whatever the fuck you want, whenever you want. You can look at that flight that leaves at 5. I've done this at 5 o'clock tonight and jump on that plane. My wife was doing a marathon actually. I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, the Edinburgh Marathon. And I dropped her off in Edinburgh to go and do the marathon. And me and my daughter were jumping around Edinburgh to wave to her and all that runner's husband shit. And while she was away doing a segment of that run, me and my daughter were on Skyscanner looking for a flight to Portugal. And we booked the flight to Portugal there and then, roughly about 12 o'clock on a Sunday. My wife finished the run maybe about, 1, 2 o'clock, whatever it was. And when she finished, she was knackered. She said, I can't wait to go home for a hot tub. And we laughed and said, no. You're going home to pack a bag. We're leaving. We're going to Portugal in like 2 hours. It was something like that anyway. And guys, that's freedom. And again, you can have that too. But in order to have that, you need to change your mindset. Guys, you need to start adding value to your business. Because when you add value to your business and you're not the same as everyone else, then you can charge more. Now, with some, not all, of that profit, you bring people in to do the jobs that you don't want to do. You are then automatically, immediately working less. With the extra time you've got, you implement systems into your business. You're now working even less. And then, guys, simply, and it really is as simple as this, you simply repeat the process. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And guys, we talk you through all of this on our Off the Tools program. Our Off the Tools program, if you don't already know, there will be a tutorial somewhere on YouTube. It's a blueprint of how I started my own business with nothing, with no guys. I had nothing. I had no experience in the industry. I had no contacts in the industry. I had never fitted a driveway in my life. I still have never fitted a driveway in my life. I had about maybe £100 in the bank, and I spent 57 quid of that to buy 1,000 leaflets from a company called Stuprint. And I went out and put these leaflets, knocked doors. If they were in, I handed them a leaflet and tried to get a conversation to create an appointment. If they weren't, I put the leaflet through. I got 3 appointments on the first day I ever done it, and I sold one. And then thought, shit, who's going to fit this? It's definitely not going to be this guy. So I had to go out there and obviously find, I had to go out there and find installers. And that was the start of it. And then we grew it to 2 million, sold it for just under £1 million, and so on. But guys, that was how easy it was for me to do that. But because I had no contacts and no experience, no money, no van, no tools, I had to learn every single aspect of the construction industry. Every single aspect, from lead generation to sales to recruitment to project management to project delivery to profit and loss to know my number to bookkeeping to recruitment. Guys, you don't need me to tell you the list is fucking endless. The hats that you're wearing at this. Let me tell you something. And this is factual. And I know it from I knew this before, but I know it even more so now from my own experience. It's easier to run a £1, 2, £3 million company than it is a £100,000 company. Now that is an absolute fact. And why is it a fact? Because when you're doing £1 million, you can afford to spend 30 grand a year for somebody to take all your phone calls and send all your quotes and your emails and all that. You can afford to spend, I don't know why I done the phone. I'll do a little car. You can afford to spend 30 grand to hire a project manager to jump around town and visit the sites and make sure the guys are on a certain site and whatever. Guys, this process is not difficult. But what I see a lot with trade business owners, it's just that. It's fucking that. Oh, I can't do it. You can't get the right guys, and it's too hard to make money these days, and nobody wants to spend the money, and it's dog eat dog around here, and it's all bullshit. It is all bullshit. Honestly, it is absolute nonsense. It's negative mindsets, and me and my clients are absolute proof of that. Guys, I've got clients approaching £3 million. They were doing about 400 grand when we first met. Before they jumped on that course, they were doing, I won't go into too many examples. Again, they're here on YouTube as well. But I've got a guy who was making, we worked it out, and he was paying himself £1,000 a month to keep himself under the VAT threshold. Not the VAT threshold, the tax threshold for PAYE. He'd been doing it for about 20 years. He was brilliant at his job. But he was making £1,000 a month with no dividends at the end of the year. Right? He may have been doing the odd cash job, I don't know, for a little bit of pocket money, I'm not sure. Right? But he was making 12 grand a year and doing roughly about 280, maybe 300k. It was him and 2 guys. Right? Fast forward, 18, 20 months. This guy's doing nearly £3 million. He's been off the tools for since month 3. He's got a full-on office. He's got a full-on office staff. He's got a project manager. He's got a salesperson and whatever. Now, this guy's still in his business, but only because he chooses to be in his business. Guys, this is available to all, but you really have to change your mindset. I know there's all these fuckwit gurus out there promising you the earth and promising to turn you into a £5, £10 million company and Lamborghinis and first-class travel and all that shit. I'm not promising any of that. What I am promising you, by the time you finish my course, you will have a systemized business. You will be positioned better. You will be more professional. You will be charging more. You will be making more. You'll have more staff. You'll know how to attract, hire, and keep the best staff. You'll know how to sell. You'll know how to understand your numbers in your business and so on. And why? Because it's a blueprint of what I've done in my own business. It's literally an A to Z of this construction industry. Guys, I can't convince you to do this, right? There's enough pricks out there trying to do that, right? But go out there, do your research, do your due diligence on me, and do your due diligence on my clients. They're not hard to find. Guys, if you don't already know my website, tradecoach.co.uk, everything is on there, including prices a lot. Monthly prices. If you click on the blue button, it'll give you the monthly breakdown if you want to take the course on finance, and all of it. It's all as transparent as I can possibly make it. But guys, you need to make that first move. And by the way, I'll tell you something else. And all my clients tell me this. Signing up with me was the hardest part of the whole process. And they all tell me that. That was the hardest bit. The fucking course is easy. But guys, if you can work Facebook, you can work the course, just so you know. But guys, in order for this to happen, you need to make that first move. And that may not even be with me. But guys, I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend you get a business coach in. Somebody who's been there, ideally in the construction industry, and who you can see who is where you want to be, effectively. And if you find that person, guys, grab them. Fuck it with her. Grab them with both arms, guys, because I'm promising you, I promise you, they will not only change your business, but they will change your life. Have a good day.